What is going on, my friends? Andrew Scott here. And if I look a little bit tired this morning, it's because I am. We had a really late night, but it was so worth it. Our friends Jake and Michelle came up from Kentucky to visit for the weekend, and we thought, what better way to kick off the weekend than to go to a concert together with the mighty King's X. Yeah, you heard me right, King's X. Now, if you know who King's X is, you know what I'm talking about. The show was amazing. If you don't know who King's X is and you're into alternative rock, check them out. I think you'd really like it. Oh, in fact, I'm wearing the swag right now. Had to represent King's X. Okay, I'm a little tired. Anyway, before Jake came up, I said, hey dude, listen, do you want to film a vlog with me and we can just chat for a little bit? He says, well, of course. So guess what? I'm gonna go pick him up right now and we're gonna talk. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Good morning.
Sweet, got the guitar.
Yep. I'm ready for sound check after this.
Heck yeah. Did you get any sleep?
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
Dude, I'm so tired. But was that King's X show not worth it? So
worth it. Amazing. Cannot believe those guys are almost 70 and still rock that hard.
I know, man. I'm still blown away. I had songs going through my head all night. I'd wake up and I'd be singing lyrics. Dude, you got a coffee. I didn't get a coffee yet.
I wasn't thinking about you, man. I was only thinking about me.
Well, that's typical Jake.
Can you go back in and get you one, Mr.
No.
Needy?
I'm good to go, man. Anyway, let's go and let's chat a little bit.
All right.
So Jake, what's up, man?
Dude, just really stoked to be here. Michelle and I are thrilled to be here, hang out with you guys.
I wanted to chat a little bit about the subject of how to handle negativity in life.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking even more specific than that would be in social media. It seems like social media has become this place of just toxicity and division and animosity. And yes, there's a plus to it. There's a good side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that we can get out that help there. But you and I, we're similar in a lot of ways. I mean, we're both fathers. We're both husbands. We both have 4 children.
Yep.
We're both musicians that have played live and toured, which is pretty cool. We'll be doing sound check soon. And some people might not know this, but I'm a pastor, and so is Jake. But sometimes the way that we go about, I hate even using the word religion, but spirituality.
Yeah.
Because I think religion sometimes it brings you into a bondage versus relationship with a divine being that we believe exists and that we exist to have relationship with.
Yes.
But I think a lot of times within that religious community, especially on social media, when you post things like, you know, God is absolutely loving, there's nothing you can do to change his love for you, you know, things like that.
Yes.
People freak out.
Yes.
And the negativity just begins to flow. And then you're put into a box. Like all of a sudden they know you and who you are.
They immediately know you, yeah.
Yeah. So in those cases, and I know you've dealt with this, how do we deal with negativity? What are some insights you have on that?
When I first started posting things about this divine being that really is love and accepts everyone and loves everyone and isn't trying to micromanage everything and really wants you to be you and embrace your uniqueness, I would get criticism, and I call it the ride the lightning approach, because
a little Metallica reference
from the
there?
Metallica album, the opening track is called Fight Fire with Fire. And so I got my flamethrower out, you know, and would try to fight the fires of negativity and criticism with my flamethrower.
Right.
And for a while that would stroke my ego, to be totally honest. Like, I showed them, but then that doesn't neutralize anything. It just makes it worse.
Yeah.
And as the years went by, honestly, I just started to grow up with it a little bit. I used to make a Facebook post about a loving God just to make it sound generic like that. And I would get a notification and it would stress me out all day because I would know there'd be a comment on there attacking.
Right.
A negative comment, and then my wife would be like, babe, like you can't think about it all day. And
Right.
and then just the realization that this social media realm was actually renting all the space in my mind.
Yeah.
And here I was with my wife and couldn't even like be present because
Right.
I'm worried about these negative comments. And so it just took some time, practically speaking, for me to grow out of that where it was affecting me so much.
Yeah. It definitely can be stressful. I mean, there's posts I've made, and once that negative comment comes in, you kind of struggle with that. But it seems like when it comes to things like religion, politics,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like these two sides, and it's hard for people to
Yes.
see through the comments. You think about it like this: comments are engaging comments, not people.
Yeah.
Okay, back in the day when I was growing up, we would watch the news before even, like all the cable networks and stuff.
Right.
And it was always drama.
This was like, what, 1860?
Yeah, 1865.
1865.
But it was one of those things where the ratings go higher when
Right.
there's negativity,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
there's something,
Fear.
things like that. And so, I almost believe social media is like the new news, because a lot of people get their news from social media. And so I've even heard people say that the algorithms are set up in such a way that they're bent towards division, negativity, heat.
Yeah.
We're almost trapped in this world, this virtual world of it catering to that. Like, they'll put those comments at the top of the thread if it has heat and negativity and division in it. And so when you make a comment, it almost removes the humanity from a person.
Yes. You're in a superficial realm where people are dehumanized.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you see the comment, and all of a sudden this one comment or opinion is the sum total of that person's being.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which when you say it out loud, you're like, wait a minute, that can't be right. Because have you ever had a bad day?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or do you believe differently or think differently now than you did 2 years ago or 5 years ago?
Yes.
And so what people do is they'll trap you within that place or that space of that one comment you made, and there's no way out.
And the temptation is to think this is the whole world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And practically speaking, a couple years ago, I just started making a 24-hour rule. So if I have a post and a negative comment comes on, I made a rule with myself that said, I'm at least going to sleep on this. I'm waiting 24 hours. And it is amazing what happens to the level of urgency and importance you're feeling when the comment first comes, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, when it first comes to 24 hours later. Honestly, you shift from this is the most urgent, important thing in my life,
Right.
to this fire has already gone out. Like if you don't put any gas on it. So that's one option. A lot of what you're saying, Andrew, is playing into I think we're kind of lulled into an us and them mentality.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
like religion and politics are kind of inherently divisive things if we already have an us and them mentality.
Right.
And people feel safe when they defend their viewpoint because their viewpoint has become their safe place.
And even their identity.
And their identity. That's
huge.
Well, yes,
you're
attacking me if you attack my views.
Yeah, there was one guy, I can't remember who it was, but he's a guy who posts quite often on social media, and he'll get these negative responses. And I mean, I'm talking about really negative, snarky, personal, name-calling things. And sometimes he'll just type back in the thread, remember, I'm a human being. And he said, it's crazy. It completely changes everything. These people will come back and literally go, oh, you know what, I am sorry. I didn't even... Because all of a sudden, he made them realize that he's a human being.
And not
just
words
a comment.
in a comment.
If you struggle with people of a certain religion or political side of the aisle or way of life, I think the best thing that we can do is actually, in order to create some type of empathy, like I think empathy is a practice.
Yeah.
is sit down with people
Yes.
who are opposite than you
Yes.
and hear their story.
Look into their eyes.
I'm
see
telling
the
you what.
humanity.
There's things that I used to think about certain people or ideals that when I sat down with someone and developed true relationship, opened myself up to that, all of a sudden they became human. And then I saw, this is what I saw, because this is a lot of times what happens when you're responding to just a comment. That person is that sum total of that comment. What we don't realize is this person has emotions and feelings and loss and fears, some of the same that we have. And when you
and
actually
commonality there,
dude,
rather than
I'm telling you,
division.
It's radically changed my life to say, you know what, I'm on purpose going to sit down and become, as close of a friend or an acquaintance or something with somebody who is maybe opposite in opinions of me, because it's opened my eyes to see things in a different light. It doesn't mean I've changed in everything. I think at the end, you said this several times, Jake, if agreement is a prerequisite for friendship, then it's not true friendship anyway.
Right, it's not, because as soon as a disagreement happens, the relationship ends.
I've had that happen.
Oh man,
Yeah.
me too. We look for ourselves everywhere,
Yes.
and if we're not seeing it,
Well, and here's the thing. I like that you said that we look for ourselves. In those moments when we actually take time to look into someone else's life, I think we need to work to the place where we begin to see ourselves in them.
even in people opposite.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where people actually took time to get to know one another, even with differences in opinion and ideals and all that. They would begin to see themselves in that person. They would begin to see a human being, and it would change things. And you wouldn't even have to agree on everything in the end.
If that revelation could cover the earth, if you think about it, life is really boring if all the people in your life agree with you.
That's true.
But you do have to be made aware and come to a place of maturity where you can maintain a relationship if someone disagrees. You found that being intentionally relational in person, how revolutionary that is. It doesn't. That sounds silly, you know. And my wife and I joke like, let's approach relationships like it's 1998. So in 1998, I was in 10th grade, and when my phone rang, I was pumped because I knew it was my girlfriend or my buddies.
Right.
Now when my phone rings, because we're inundated, this is the kind of the negative side of it. My phone rings, and unless it's like you or a couple other people, I'm like, oh, you know, because there's so much contact all the time. But the thing is, it's superficial contact for the most part.
Right.
So then we miss out on real contact. You know, we've told people in our lives back home, like, exactly what you're saying. You know, think of some person you've been programmed to hate or programmed to think is just a bad person, and then ask them to coffee and go to dinner with them.
Yeah.
Because what happens is they get rehumanized or humanized for the first time, because to that point they're just a lifestyle or a comment. It's amazing how we're actually brought together. But if we stay in the superficial realm and stay away from in-person relational encounters, it doesn't happen. We can still stay us and them minded.
That's true. It's scary. It's almost like we could say it's a step of faith to actually step into this zone where you've never been and to sit down with people and talk. But what it does at the end, on the other side, and this is the only word I can think of, the best word to sum it up, freedom. There's such a freedom that you're not afraid of the other side. Even if you don't agree with every aspect of it, you're not afraid. You can be in a relationship that you never were before, and it's almost like you're like, you can just breathe. Right. Because I don't know how else to say it. There's no fear.
There's no fear in love, right? So really what you're doing when you say, I'm going to choose to step into this person's life, is you're choosing to love. Because how many know? It's like I'm at the pulpit, right? That love is not a feeling. It's a decision many times, and the feelings come after the decisions. So in that place, when you say, I'm going to step into this relationship and get to know this person who's opposite than me, that's love at work. Yes.
And where it's present, there's no fear.
Love extends a hand.
Yeah.
Love does not withdraw the hand.
Yeah.
There's such a feeling to defend what we're indoctrinated with. The truth is we're all indoctrinated. No matter who you are or what your set of ideals or belief system is, you've been indoctrinated towards people and away from other people. Even a doctor is indoctrinated. You may go to a doctor's appointment and have a different opinion on how he should treat you, but he's gonna treat you based on how he's been indoctrinated at medical school. We only think of the word indoctrination in terms of religious context, but
And it seems negative.
yes,
Right.
yeah, if you say, oh, he's indoctrinated,
Right.
it
Right.
has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But in and of itself, it's not negative, but I think it's important to know that, and then to realize, Andrew, I need to realize you're more than what you've been indoctrinated with,
Yeah.
and I'm more than what I've been indoctrinated with. And let me learn the Andrew beyond the indoctrination,
Right.
mine and yours.
Yeah.
And that's where the humanity lies.
Yeah.
And that's where we find commonality.
That's good.
But we do have to go have those conversations.
Yeah.
So I want to be a person that initiates those conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and I think your audience here, I think, would be great. You know,
Yeah.
in your community, make a choice to say, you know what, I'm going to find commonality with those I might, on paper, not think I have commonality with, and I'm going to pursue the humanity in others. And it's amazing the unifying effect that
Yeah.
happens.
That's good, Jake. Looking
So
forward to
excited.
putting this up on the vlog for you guys to see. I think it was really key and on point and in season. But I leave you with this, my friends. Let's live well and let's love well. Let's be the inspiration in someone else's life to bring them to a greater sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
Live, love, vlog. I know you want to
Can I
say
say
that.
it? Live, love, vlog.
Peace and grace, my friends.
Later.
So, Jake.
Yeah,
what's
man.
up? It's
so,
awesome.
So happy
Let's
to be
try
here.
it again because we're just interrupting each other. Looking
So
forward to
excited.
putting this up on the vlog for you guys to see. But I leave this one more time. And I leave you.
Leave you.
I leave this with
Third try.